All right, we are back with BCB Live here at the Hilton Anatole Hotel in Dallas. I'm very pleased to have Jessica Savage with us. Jessica, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely, yes. I'm Jess Savage. I am head of distribution for Expo trucks, and I've been in the trucking industry for 13 years now. So worked in all parts of the industry and really excited to be here this morning with you.
Thank you for being here with us.
Of course.
I had a conversation with Jess prior to this interview, and I got to, spend more time to learn more about you and what you do. And part of our conversation that, I remember it now and it sticks out to me is when you told me about your professor. Yes. And can you tell our viewers kind of how that professor almost got you to, being in trucking today?
Of course. Yeah, huge mentor of mine, still keep in contact today. And I was in school and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And, nobody really, I think there's a lot of folks who are born and bred into trucking, and that's so exciting. And the history that they have there is just phenomenal, but I didn't have that. So being in trucking is not like a dream come true to me.
Right.
And so as I was thinking about what I wanted to do, this specific professor who came out of Penske Rollins and the industry in general had said, you really should go interview at Navistar. And I said, what is Navistar? Do they pay well? What is this process?
Right.
And he said, just go do it, because the industry needs more women, and they need more women who are outspoken and can carry and help mentor others throughout the industry and their career paths as well, which I, of course, was extremely proud of myself in that moment for that. Still was like, trucking, so,
yeah.
And I went for the interview, and so many parts about the company were amazing, and the longevity of everyone who's been in the industry and just doesn't leave, regardless of whether they hop around a bit to a few different companies. So I took the job when they offered it to me, and like I said, 13 years ago.
History ever since, right?
Exactly.
I've heard from so many people that you don't choose the trucking industry. It's like it almost chooses you.
So true.
And it's, in a good way, it's like a black hole that once you get into it, there's no way of getting out. But along with myself, and it sounds like same with you, I think a lot of people's expectations of what the trucking industry is like is very different to then once they get into it.
Totally.
And I think we all have that mentor or that professor or that boss that may have helped guide us and kind of push us to where we are today. So I'm glad you had that person to get you here.
Absolutely.
So tell us why. What is Expo Trucks exactly, and why do your passions, why is it important with your position at Exos?
Sure, of course. So at Exos, we are a OEM manufacturer for fully electric commercial vehicles. And so we have full breadth of product from class 5 through 8, and currently have step vans out in operation in customers' hands today. And the reason why I felt really passionate about coming to Exos was I got into e-mobility a bit when I was still working at Mack Trucks. And I started to see a lot of need in the industry for all-encompassing solutions. Selling electric vehicles is not just, here's your truck, here are the keys, ready, go, which is that's my comfort zone. I was ready for that. And as I started to see the journey into e-mobility and really the impact that it had on the environment as a whole, the more I thought, they really have something here. And so I joined, a startup experience. It's been really great for me. I've done a lot within the company and the industry space that I wouldn't have had the options or ability to elsewhere. But it also gave me the ability to really learn a lot more about where the industry is headed and what applications we can start with for that, and really how to create a purpose-built vehicle for certain customers and very specific applications in the last mile as well.
So something we had talked about in our previous conversation is with, pollution and things that are contributing to climate change. A lot of that goes into redlining, and I would love for you to tell our viewers what that is, why electric vehicles can help to end redlining, and just kind of tell us what it's about.
Yeah, so if we take it back a ton of years, back to the 30s, and redlining was an actual practice that folks would do to essentially cut certain ethnic groups, neighborhoods, and races out of access to mortgages and lending.
Right.
And there's a lot of research that goes into the background. And of course, we're not here to talk politics, we're here to talk trucks. But what led as an outcome of a lot of the redlining practices of the past that's kind of led into a little bit of that today is access to what some may call just basic needs. So internet, a lot of the spots where folks were forced to live because of redlining practices are low-income housing properties. They're near landfills, they're near water treatment plants, recycling plants, all of which produce a mass amount of pollution. Even in my little neighborhood in Los Angeles, I have almost weekly need to dust off my windows because of the soot that comes from just mass amounts of cars on the road. And in California, we're actually quite progressive as it comes to EVs on the road. And so when I start to think about those things, I really feel an impact to what I do on a day-to-day basis in trying to help combat some of those, decades-long issues that we've faced as a result of some of the practices that we all used to take. And I think in having certain applications for electric vehicles, and where you'll see all truck OEMs starting with rolling them out, last mile, refuse, door-to-door deliveries. Those are the really impactful things that hit people's neighborhoods, they're in their homes, and every little bit counts right now to be able to mitigate a lot of that impact.
Now, we had talked about, you are very passionate about this, but you said that not every situation may need electromobility. So why do you think that, and can you give us some examples?
Absolutely, yeah. It would be great if every situation could have electromobility today, but the technology just isn't there. On top of regulations for weight and all of these other options, and it's really difficult to be able to have electromobility everywhere. We can't put it on long-haul routes. We would have too much of a payload offset to be able to do that. So as the technology grows, and there's a lot of great folks here at the show this week talking about autonomous driving and all of these really cool ways to revolutionize the industry. So as technology grows, the number of applications that suit electrification will grow. But for right now, really last mile, port operations, and some pretty tight refuse applications. These are all going to be really perfect for electrification today.
Right. Now, I have just found out from our director that your mic is on low battery, so we're going to switch it out real quick so we can keep going. Cool. Alrighty, there we go. I mean, that's kind of how broadcast is. It's live.
It's
and,
true. Never a dull
there's no
moment.
sugarcoating to it. So, and I didn't expect that we had to go in that direction of redlining, but it's something I told you I've studied about.
Yes.
And it's been a part in my own experience, and it was refreshing to hear that you understood it, you knew about it, and how do you think we can educate and bring more awareness? Because so many people don't know what redlining is. They don't understand that soot, like you said. You were
Absolutely.
That's that's because of climate change and the pollution in the air. So what do you think we can do?
Absolutely. I think the key thing first and foremost is to give folks access to the right information, right? Today, you can find an answer to support whatever it is you believe in, frankly. And I think that really the core of any journey with electrification or with climate change has to do with the topics that are really important and impactful to you. No matter what you believe in, no matter what side of the house you play on, there's something that's impactful to you that I would guarantee that cleaner air has a purpose in. And that's something that's really big and near and dear to my heart. Not pushing agendas, not throwing people into spaces that they don't have a passion for. But if anybody has kids or grandkids, they want to make sure that, let's say they develop asthma one day because the air is so intense that they're not able to play outside. Those are things that we don't want to have to lose as a generation to come, the ability to go run outside because we don't have access to clean air. So it feels intense. It's a really intense conversation, but it's the reality of where we play today. And I think that a lot of what we do in transportation is really focused around bringing people what they need to thrive in day-to-day life. And that's inclusive of clean air. And I think when we think about everyone delivering medical supplies and goods and the things that we bring people on a day-to-day to enhance their lives, what we miss a little in that is clean air and what it takes to deliver those goods as well.
You know, with something like COVID, it took a pandemic like that to let let the world know that, you know, truck driving is an essential business.
Yes.
And drivers are essential to our industry.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, truck drivers already have health problems.
Yes.
You know, there's high risk for diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, and also bad air. I mean, not having clean air.
Yes.
And being around trucks that are producing this, I don't think it's going to help benefit what we're trying to solve with the truck drivers' health either.
No, absolutely. And the healthier folks are, the more safe they're going to be. They're going to not cut corners. You know, when inherently you have electrification and you have other alternative clean fuels, you're also mitigating the steps that it takes to be ready to go in the morning with pre-trips. Right. There's a lot fewer moving parts and components there. So it gives everybody a better chance to actually be able to show up safe to work. And that's also another really big thing.
Let me ask you one more thing. What is the safety and the reliability with these electro-mobility trucks?
Yeah.
I mean, some people are totally against it. Some people are like, yeah, let's do this thing. But truly, how reliable are these trucks?
Absolutely. So the reliability of the vehicle and the chassis themselves are no different, arguably better. So you've got anywhere between 40 to 60% fewer moving parts on the chassis. And so you have your typical standard brakes and other componentry that is common with traditional diesel or gas vehicles. But for the majority of the vehicle, things aren't moving as much as it was before. So you have a lot more reliability there. The batteries themselves, it's new technology. So no one has a crystal ball that says nothing bad will ever happen or you'll never have to replace this. But what we do know of is that from an overall impact to the environment and process, in the event that a battery reduces down below its intended state of health, we can remove the battery packs in their entirety, replace them, get you back on the road. Like I said, the chassis is going to last its typical 15, 20 years, maybe even longer, depending on the application. And so you're just working with the batteries. Similar to, you get to a point where you may have to do an engine rehaul. That's a week or two of work in a shop if they have somebody ready to go and dedicated. Whereas with the batteries, you can remove them. We at Exos have a partnership to remanufacture batteries, get them back on vehicles or get them used in other applications, such as battery storage for charging. But other OEMs are also creating their own processes for that as well. So it's just a slower and easier process for degradation in that. It also very much depends on your application, how often you're charging. So the reliability and safety of the battery technology is very similar. I think what a lot of people miss is there's not a lot of information out there about it. We all hear all the bad news about things, so if something lights on fire, everybody sees it, but when something performs without any fault, nobody hears about it. And so it's those types of events that the more vehicles that are out on the road, both passenger and in commercial, we'll start to see
a lot of the same type of safety talks and safety discussions that we do for diesel vehicles as well. Safety components on an electric vehicle outside of don't stick your hands in anything that's orange. We make it very clear as to what you should and shouldn't touch, but same thing, you don't want to, lead over with your long hair and front of a flywheel. So it's things like that that we just need to make sure we're informing folks of. First responder training is one thing that we really pride ourselves in at Expo, so it was one of the first things we developed. Awesome. And an easy system to be able to say something is going wrong, I'm going to disconnect the high voltage batteries, all of them in one foul swoop. So
user friendly.
Exactly.
Right?
It's very simple. We try to keep it as simple as possible because not only is that important, but our industry is also younger. It is, less a bit mechanically inclined. We've lost some of the older workforce who were really used to really diving in and doing pre-checks because they had to. I think COVID also laxed some of the safety things that we had and that we were focused on just simply out of need. And so it's getting back into regular safety practices, but making them easier as well.
Jess, thank you so much for coming on our show
Bryce.
today. I'm so happy that you got to share some of your knowledge with our viewers and myself, and I hope everyone else watching can take away from this that all of us can do something, whether or not we're in the trucking industry or we're just someone living in, the climate change that we live day to day with. There's something we can all do, big or small, and it's all going to contribute to something. So
absolutely.
All right, thank you guys. We'll be right back with another interview and some fun talk. Bryce here again, and I am so happy to be with Lucinda Lamb, Susan Grant, and Beth Potratz here with me today, and we're going to talk a little bit about is trucking the right match for you. So if we can go ahead and, Lucinda, can you first tell our viewers who you are, what it is that you do in trucking?
My name's Lucinda Lamb, and I work for Yellow, and I'm a P&D driver out of Boise, Idaho.
Awesome. And then Susan and Beth?
I'm Susan Grant. I work with Drive My Way. I'm a matchmaker and match CDL drivers to jobs.
Awesome.
Hi, thanks for having us today, Lucinda.
Of course.
And Susan, it's great to be with you. Thanks, Bryce, for inviting us on. My name is Beth Potratz. I'm the founder and CEO for Drive My Way.
Awesome. So can you first give our viewers a brief introduction? Now, we did have Beth on back in May, I believe it was May, but just in case some people didn't watch that, what is Drive My Way?
Yeah, sure. So Drive My Way is a personalized recruiting marketplace that matches non-CDL and CDL truck drivers with jobs based on the driver's professional qualifications and their personal lifestyle preferences. So we're really making hiring personal again by treating the driver as a consumer in the employment relationship, helping match them up with jobs that will allow them to live the life that they want. Kind of like popular dating sites only matching drivers with jobs they love.
Now, Lucinda, can you tell us, how did you enter the trucking industry? Did you have that personable matchmaking experience? What was it like for you?
When I first started driving truck, I drove for the beverage industry, and I just needed something different and something challenging, and I did that for 2 years, and then I went into the LTL business, doing what I do now. I've been there for 5.5 years. I really like it. It's very challenging, and it's great.
And Susan, what's it like? What's the matchmaker's relationship with the driver? How does that work exactly?
It's a one-on-one relationship. We match truck drivers to jobs, and we try to make trucking fun again for the truck driver. We match their lifestyle preferences with their qualifications as a driver, and we find them the perfect job through our app.
So what are some of the different lifestyle options you can choose, some of the preferences? Like, what are some of the different things you can see on there?
So some drivers want to be home every day. Some drivers would rather run regional. Most drivers don't want to work weekends. And we're able to match what they want to fit their lifestyle with the certain companies that are hiring that also have the same match. So it's really a great fit for the truck driver as well as the trucking companies.
So Lucinda, what are some of those lifestyle choices that makes trucking the choice for you? Why did you choose trucking, and why should it be a first choice option for other women thinking about entering the industry?
I was in sales administration for a long time, and I needed something different. I wanted something more physical and more challenging, like I said.
Right.
So my job is physical and challenging, and that's what I wanted. And I stay local so that I can be home every day, and so I can be home on the weekends. It's just what I wanted to do, and I like it. And it is a male-dominated field, but
Yes.
more and more women are getting out there, and it's just a great experience.
And with that, Beth, how many women are you seeing using this app? Do you think it's a great choice for women who are considering to enter the industry?
Absolutely. We see all kinds. I mean, everybody's looking for a different scenario that's unique to them. So you might want to travel with your pet or a
Right.
companion.
Exactly.
You may want to just bump docks instead of loading and unloading. You might want to only travel certain parts of the country. Maybe you don't want to do New York City, for example. It's just whatever it is that you're looking for in terms of type of haul, type of run, schedule, home time. Certain types of benefits are important to people.
Right.
Especially women. Is there a paid maternity, paternity leave? Is paid vacation, holidays, what kind of flexibility do they have with the schedule? And there's a million different types of segments out there in trucking. I mean, you can haul horses, you can haul livestock, you can haul P&D, you can haul hazmat, tanker, flatbed, reefer, fuel. There's a million different options, and that's what makes it fun, is to be able to show everybody that trucking is a really viable career. Some that may not have even thought about it before, and introduce it to them as an idea and kind of make trucking sexy again as a career that people might want to gravitate toward.
I love that. Now, Lucinda, have you ever heard of Drive My Way before? And if not, what do you think about it?
I have not, and I think it's awesome. I think that's great, wonderful, because people do need flexibility in their lives and in their schedules, and I think people are intimidated on jumping into a truck if they don't feel that they have that. So I think that's awesome. I've never heard of it, and it's great. Great ideas.
There needs to be a resource like that in the industry, and there is because of Drive My Way being created. Now, Beth, you were telling me before we went on camera there was a conversation y'all were just having. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, 2 quick conversations. So I have a great women in trucking story on my first night here. My Uber driver is a female. And she said, "What is this? Who are all these women?" And I said, "We're here for women in trucking." She said, "Really? That's a thing?" And I said, "Absolutely." She said, "That's what I'm going to do." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah, my husband and I are empty nesters. The kids have all grown and moved out." And he just approached me and said, "Hey, what if we drove a truck together?" And they actually want to do OTR and see the country and get out there and enjoy this next chapter in their lives. So she was asking all kinds of questions. How do we get started? We're just going to start school. Who hires teams? What would it look like? So it was kind of exciting to be able to connect on that level with another woman exploring the industry. And we got to talking about the 2 of them starting in their career at different points in time and kind of what was or wasn't available back then. And this being the first time both are joining the Women in Trucking Conference, it's been a pretty big eye-opener, hasn't it?
Super eye-opener. I drove 18-wheelers 25 years ago, and there was no women. There was no women in trucking.
Right.
It was less than 3%. So this whole thing, I'm just amazed at how many women have come into the field in the last 20 years, because this was not out here. I had no support.
Right.
So this has just been awesome to see all these women come together and share their stories, and now we're all experts.
Yes.
So I'm curious, Susan, why did you choose trucking 25 years ago?
Because I like working in a field where there was opportunity for women to join, and it was affirmative action at the time where a lot of companies were hiring a small group of women, and there's culture change going on, and so I went for it and worked my way up through being an owner-operator.
And still raised a family.
And still raised, yeah.
That's a lot. We're
still raised a family.
Later today we'll be having Angelique Temple on, and she's the one who's going to be joining the House Hall of Fame. And she raised 6 children too, who are medical doctors now. And I'm just like, how do you do it? I mean, that's crazy to me, but it's possible. Women, anything's possible.
That's right.
But I'm curious, Lucinda, what was your experience like entering the industry? Because I believe you told me you've been driving for about 7.5 years. So what was that like for you?
When I first started out, there wasn't very many women, even though it was only 7.5 years ago. I'm the only female driver at my terminal as well. A little challenging, but not really. Everybody made me feel welcome. Everybody was willing to work with me, and I just kept moving my next foot forward and just did the best that I can. I do the best I can, and it's great. I love it.
Now, is this your first Women in Trucking event?
Yes, my very first.
So I want to ask all of y'all and you kind of touched on it, Susan, why an event like this, why an organization like this is so important in our industry. I just want to hear what y'all have to say about that.
All right, well, this is,
I wasn't sure where we were going.
I've been to almost every single one, and I have never been more moved and felt more empowered by being surrounded by the women that come to this event. It is absolutely incredible. Women just naturally are eager to network and truly collaborate and kind of want to go deep. And there's a whole lot of conversations happening to elevate each other, not just on a professional level, but also on a personal level. There's a lot of, people helping coach each other. Hey, I've been there, I had that experience, here's what I've tried. And many lifelong connections being made. I started the mentoring program, the speed mentoring at the conference every year, and there's been lifelong mentoring relationships struck at that initial kickoff session. And then every year people come back, and typically they'll bring a friend or two, and it just keeps growing and growing, and it's just so refreshing to come back year after year. More ideas, more collaboration, and old friends and new.
Exactly. And Susan?
I look forward to the mentoring program because of my past experience. I met a woman on day number 1 where she had a start off with a trainer that was an unfortunate experience, and I said, that was terrible, keep going. And I'm looking forward to mentoring women that's starting out in the field and just helping them out and tell them what it looks like and what the ropes are going to look like and what they need to do. So that starts in January, I think, and I'm excited about
Give me that
doing
information because I'm interested.
Yeah, for sure. We have tons of M&Ms with a QRC
Oh, is
code. All
that?
you
That's
have
what
to
you're
do
talking
is
about.
scan
Okay,
it, sign up as a mentee or a mentor,
I'm gonna
and
do
then
that.
you'll get matched up with whoever you're looking to get help from.
I love to do that. And then, Lucinda, what's this event done for you, and what do you hope it does for other women?
The word that I keep saying, and Susan said it was empowering. This is very empowering. I
Right.
had no idea what I was getting myself into. This is the first year I've ever been here, and I've learned so much, and I've met so many people, and I've amazing people in my company that I'd never met before, and everyone else in different fields, and it's just very empowering, very confidence boosting. It's just amazing, and I think everyone should, in the trucking industry that's female, should experience this.
This won't be your first and only event.
No, I'm definitely coming back. Yes, yes.
This is my first Women in Trucking event, and I'm very proud to be a part of this. That's why on our show we created on Wednesdays Ladies Who Launch interview segment, and it's because women deserve to have their own platform, their own designated time to be able to highlight what they're doing. Because without women, we wouldn't have this organization. And it's not just women who join it, 15% are men. And I think men too, it's great that we have this support, that we're growing. And I'm sure everyone's heard Ellen Boyer is retiring after this year. And I'm sure Women in Trucking will be in great hands, but we have a legacy to move forward for her and to do our best to keep continuing to grow females in the industry. So I want to go down, I want to start with Beth. What would you say to a woman that's considering to join trucking? What would you say to her?
I actually would tell people, the biggest thing you have to do is be willing to reach out to others, because there are others out there who can help. There's a lot of people sitting on the sidelines kind of wondering, maybe, what if, how would I, and they just don't have the guts to take the leap. And you'll get the guts to take the leap by reaching out to others. There have been others in your shoes ahead of you, and just feeling that, the reassurance, the support, the network that you build up, it'll help you along. And you just have to believe in yourself. You can do it. There are other people around you that are doing it, so there's no reason that you can't too.
Susan?
I would say just go for it. Yeah. You'll figure it out. If you have kids, you'll figure out how to manage kids and work. You'll figure out how to be there when you need to be home, and you'll get some help, and you'll be fine. But don't give up. Exactly. Tomorrow's a new day. You can start over. The dispatcher might even be different tomorrow, and so just keep on going. You'll figure it out. Like
you told the woman that you were talking with at the mentor.
Yeah, she had a bad experience. She had a really bad trainer.
But don't let that stop her.
And I said, just cross that off. Move forward. She goes, well, I really like it. And I said, well, just move forward. You're going to have more different experiences, and it's going to get better. Right. I felt bad for her, but I was trying to,
there's
positive feedback.
There's obviously a lot of greatness in the industry that is yet to be uncovered by her, and I think all of us,
Right.
And Lucinda, what would you want to say to a woman, a female that's interested in joining trucking?
Same as these ladies, I would say just go for it, and find other women in the industry that you can talk to, so that can motivate you and give you advice and mentor. I mean, there's a lot of us out there behind the sidelines, that just reach out to people and just do some research and just do it. Just go for it.
And also, if anybody ever has considered joining, coming to the Women in Trucking events, I say do it. This is a great place. This is a great experience to be able to connect and network with other women. And like Beth was saying, these are relationships that can go forward, a lot longer past this. And I think it's exciting to see what's to come for our industry and women in the industry. And, we can't do it without each other, So without events like this, it gives us a place to really make time for that. So, and I just want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Bryce.
And this was your first interview, and I'm so grateful that you joined.
Thank
has
you.
Been such a great experience having you here, and then Susan as well, and Beth, and thank you. And this has been so much fun. We're going to be right back, guys, with some more fun content for you, and we'll talk soon. All right, guys, we're back with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. And I have a very special co-host with me here today, Reagan Payne with Fusion Now. Reagan, how are you feeling right now?
Hey, I'm feeling great. I'm thrilled to be here. And Bryce did tell me I had to come up with a safety name, so you guys can call me Turn Right Reagan.
You heard it first here, ladies and gents. Okay, think twice, Bryce. Turn right, Reagan.
We'll
I
come up
like
with
it.
yours.
Yeah, we got to come up with your names too. So we have two very special guests with us here today. I've got Kathy Tucaro. We also have Angelique Temple here, also known as the Tornado. So watch out, y'all. All right. So, ladies, can you first tell us how y'all met? Like, what's going on?
Oh, I have to say that one. We just met, first of all, just met at the reception.
At the reception.
And I literally picked her out. So it's like a stalking without the border protection. And I grabbed her and like, wait a minute, come over here, I need a picture. And she was like, sure. And then we started talking about what she does, and we just connected as if we knew each other the whole time.
That's right. I had a really funky hat. That's why. That was.
Okay.
I had a kind of like a steampunk hat that I got in Vegas with the big
I love
lights.
it.
It was
Oh my
awesome.
goodness.
She's like, "Come here." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
For bike night?
Yes.
Bike night,
Yes.
That was so
Bike
much
night.
fun. I'm just gonna let y'all know Drive Safe Dave was like busting the moves out there on the dance floor.
Right.
I know. Did y'all see him?
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy can actually dance.
I try to stay away so I don't get pulled on the
Oh,
dance
yeah.
floor.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to
smart.
fall,
That
and
was
people
smart.
take pictures of that. Yes.
definitely.
So I'm really glad that we have the four of us here.
Yes.
And I kind of just want to dive into, like, let's start with you, Kathy, first. Can you just give us a little bit of background story with
Oh
you?
my.
I know it's
Okay.
kind of a loaded question.
Okay, it is a loaded question, but okay, I'll try and make it quick. I was a nurse for 13 years, and I was really good at it. I love taking care of people, but the problem was that I didn't know how to balance it out and take care of me, so I ended up being what could you say, drinking my problems and drinking my coping skills to a point where I couldn't really see the patients anymore, so I ended up losing my nursing career. But there's a reason why I lost the nursing career, because behind the alcohol, there was trauma, a lot of trauma. And I know that behind any addiction, it's not so much, you know, the drug itself or the alcohol, but what's lying behind that. And so I had to take time off of life. I ended up drunk and homeless, losing everything I owned. My daughter wouldn't talk to me. I mean, it was really bad. I slashed my arm. I don't remember doing it. But a moment with Toothless Joe, hero of my story.
I remember this.
Toothless Joe. If you're listening out there one day, I'm going to find you. So, yeah, that's right. Toothless Joe slapped on the 7th day of being homeless. He slaps me on the back and he's like, you know, this is the life. And I'm like, excuse me? And it was my moment, my aha moment where I'm like, this is not my life. I've always known there's a bigger purpose for what I'm supposed to do, and being drunk and homeless standing beside that guy, no, that didn't qualify. This ain't it. So I took the necessary steps. I turned around in that moment. I went to the hospital. I went to a women's recovery program where I actually had to live there for a year. I had so many layers of trauma over 40 years, a lot of multiple rapes, a lot of extreme domestic violence. I mean, I was strangled 3 times to the point of losing consciousness. I lived with a shovel on my porch. I mean, it was just these horrible things. And all the while nursing, you know, trying to function and trying to, you know, remain that I'm good. But so I had to go address all that, which isn't that easy. I mean, change is hard, right? Change takes time. It does not happen overnight. No. You got to chip away at it, like little by little, step by step. And I did that. And that's when I realized that I couldn't go back to nursing. But how do you change careers at 42? Right. It's not easy.
Absolutely.
Right? Even picking a career is hard. Never mind when you're midlife, when you're like, is anybody really going to hire me? Like, right? With no experience?
Sure.
So get this. I went to a career planning workshop where they did aptitude test, personality test. And after 3 days, they gave me almost like a stamp on the forehead. You're going to be a heavy equipment operator.
You're like, what?
I'm like, yes. I'm like,
what is that?
You say what now?
I'm like, excuse me? I'm like,
Right.
I laughed so hard, I just about fell off my chair, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's got to be the most ridiculous career I've ever come on. I'm 42. I'm a woman. I don't even like equipment. I'm not mechanically inclined. I'm really not. And it's a man's job. I honestly thought, excuse me, but I really did think it was a man's job back then. Back then. Now I know it's men's best kept secret. Right?
Perspective shift.
Yes,
Yeah.
perspective. So anyway, so this woman sent me to a nonprofit organization in Canada, because I'm Canadian, and it's called Women Building Futures. The best program ever. What it is, it's companies that sponsor ladies to go into the non-traditional trades. Not everybody wants to work in the corporate world, right? And well, I know I don't, but so anyway, so she sent me there, and the day I walk in was the day ExxonMobil, the biggest oil and gas company in the world, Imperial Oil in Canada, they were there. And they were sponsoring 16 women to take a 12-week heavy equipment course. Wow, I didn't know what a haul truck was. I just saw the 10 days on, 10 days off. I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what that is. I'll do it, right? Because I knew I could drive. I was thinking a truck like here. Yet no, out there. I now operate the largest truck in the world. It is literally. It's a 797 Cat for any Caterpillar finning operators out there. Yes, 797. For anybody that's not an operator, it is, the tires are 14 feet tall. I should have brought my book. It's okay. Yeah, the tires are 14 feet tall. The box is it's 2.5 stories high just to go sit in the cab where I work, where I sit all day. It's amazing. And when the box is up, it's 5 stories high. I literally drive a building. The Caterpillar engineer said you could fit 2 million hockey pucks in the back.
Wow.
2 million hockey pucks. Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been doing this for 10 years now. And honestly, it is men's best kept secret. I work in a sandbox all day. I'm in coveralls. I make money, good money. I got great time off. It's challenging, and let me say, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
That's the most important part, though.
And she makes
right?
good money. I just want to repeat that.
Oh yeah.
I want to repeat that.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, and I get 2 weeks off every 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I see the benefits.
Okay, you see? So yeah. So ladies, if you're looking for a career change, please do not omit the trades. Number one, it's never too late. It's never too late to change, right? It's never too late to start a new career, ever. And anything is out there. If you think, if someone tells you that you can't do it just to prove them wrong.
Absolutely.
Now, my following question is that Angie's story is very different.
Oh, God.
You know, at 42, you realize that maybe this is what I want to do, and then you realize you love it. And you knew by the age of 12 years old that this is what I want to do. And you may have not gotten the support that you hope to have.
Not.
Can we talk about
You
that?
can say the not. Don't say
You
the only
didn't.
not.
She did not have the support.
not.
Okay. What was that like,
Emphasize.
knowing what you wanted to do at such a young age, and people just thought like that's crazy.
Okay, so being born and raised in New York, I was riding with my dad, and I was on the way to work with him to spend time just kind of figuring out what he does, right? So we're sitting there, we're driving, and a tanker truck passed, and I said, that's what I want to do. And he looked at me like, no, I was the only girl. So he said, no daughter of mine is going to drive anything like that.
Right.
Of course, hearing the horror stories from where he worked, he was the supervisor for New York Times in Manhattan. So he was like, no, it's not going to happen. But it was going to happen. It just had to be later. Anyways, I was too young, regardless. So I left. When I left New York, not for that reason, but when I left and I came to Virginia, it started off as I drove a bus in New York, first of all. So I had a really bad accident. A truck hit me, kind of immobilized me for a little bit. 3 herniated discs in the back, 2 bulged discs in the neck. Yes, so I became a truck driver anyway. Yeah. So after that, I began my career in hazmat because that was my passion. That's my passion. The whole acid, gasoline, it doesn't matter. If it has to have a warning to you when I'm coming through, I love it. Hence tornado, right?
Right.
So, So in that time, it was a gentleman named Mr. Pete Futrell, and he actually was not only the dispatcher, but he was in charge of the terminal. And he gave me a shot straight out of school, and he trained me. And when he first let me go, he was like, well, this is what you have. And I went out and I came back, and he was like, what happened? I said, nothing, I'm done. And he said, no, wait, you're not done. Everything I gave you. I said, absolutely, I'm done. So he looked at it, looked at my paperwork, everything signed, and he was like, He was like, I'm gonna call you Tornado. I have never seen anyone turn loads like that.
Oh my
He was like
goodness.
my dad away from my dad because I was not in New York. So I've kept it. Like literally, it's on my vehicles.
It's the
Now
name of
the
your
name of my
company.
company.
Literally.
It's been my CB handle this whole time. So every time, even my children, they walk around now, they're grown, all 6 of them, and we're not gonna get into that right this minute, but all 6 of the children are grown. And they're like, oh wait, you're Tornado's kid, right? Yeah. It's a switch from being, hey, you're so-and-so's mom, right? Because that's what I had. Right, so yeah, definitely was great. So my dream was to not only be an owner-operator, but do a whole transportation company. So when my last children graduated from high school, that was my moment. COVID started, I didn't care. It was the moment. This is it. It's do or die. I'm going out there. So, and I did. And I just finished my first full year in October as an owner-operator, even though I have, thank you.
Congrats to that.
She's my hero.
No.
All of us.
So I have almost 24 years experience driving altogether.
Wow.
So in
That's
and
impressive.
out, thank you. Well, you're impressive. So we're impressive. So yeah, I'm sorry, it's the New York in me. So basically, I'm on my 3rd marriage, which is great. I was a single mom most of the time, but my husband now, Mr. Amar Temple, shout out to him. He has been through a lot of the things that I have been through. What he's been through with women, I've been through with men, and we've been friends for 8 years prior, so we get along great. I mean, it's so wonderful just to not only be able to have someone like that, but to also be able to share. Because when I went through alone, he didn't have to. So that's the great part.
I'm happy for you for that. And I'm happy, Kathy, that you found your path, you found your calling. And whether you are 60 years old, 20 years old,
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's
Right.
never too
Yeah.
late.
12 years old.
I have to share something because, excuse me, Miss
Oh my
Angelini,
goodness, here we are.
you are not the only one that's nickname is Tornado.
Okay.
There's a reason. Okay, so my
Okay.
let
me brace myself.
So my nickname is Tuckero Tornado. Okay.
There you go.
I'm not
Okay,
joking
this
because number one, I have 8 hamsters and 1 wheel in my noggin. I'm a Gemini. I'm like
Me too.
What?
May 31st.
I love this.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So the snatching of her saying, "Hey, come here."
It was like destiny.
That's what it is.
Well, the reason
Wow.
the reason they call me Tuckero Tornado is because when now my job allows me time off. So what I do, since I get so much time off, I refuse. I should be dead 10 times over. And I said, you know what? I am not wasting the rest of my life in front of a youth watching TV on the couch. I'm not doing it. So I started giving back to the world. So now, everywhere I travel, I make sure I go to the women's shelters, I go to juvenile homes, I'll go to schools, I'll go to prisons. I mean, I'll create events, and I do those events for free because when you're in a shelter, you don't have money, right? And it's not about the money. It's about raising up the community. Raising up one woman will change an entire community.
Absolutely.
Right? I know because I've done it.
We are the same,
right?
because like we do the same thing.
Yes.
So
I
got goosebumps.
Absolutely.
Right. So in case, this is my sister. In case you haven't met.
Hi.
Yes. So it doesn't
Never mind,
matter.
brother from
We're-
another mother,
we're related.
sister from another
Yes,
mother.
we're not going anywhere. So
When I go to the islands, because I go to the Caribbean a lot, so I take Kathy time in the afternoon, but I make a point of empowering the girls in the morning.
Absolutely.
So they said, oh, it's hurricane season. I'm like, hurricane season? I'm like, and she says, oh no, you don't come like a hurricane, you come in like a tornado because
you
they
go.
have a hard time following me, right? I mean, let's go,
Right,
man. We got
right.
places to go.
Right.
Oh, I
so
love
it's
this.
the same thing.
We are friends for life, you know that, right?
You don't have a choice anyway. I mean, I basically stalked you at the reception. It's not like I can't find you.
It was meant to be.
Yes, because every year we do different organizations, or if someone hands us a list of families, so it's just like me saying, hey, who do you know that needs? So I do that, even with being a mom of 6
gonna do that
children.
together.
We are. I actually.
We're going to do a drive together.
So yeah, not only a drive, we're going to do the traveling. I'm going to partner up with you. I'm sorry, I'm just sprung this on you, but I'm just telling you
Can
what we're going to do.
Live be a part of this too?
No,
Like,
Yes.
You want to follow
Yes.
us and document it?
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to partner up. So everything that she does community-wise is going to be a team thing. I'm actually going to set up to where I am going to be helping her. So it's not
my
even
goodness.
going to be, because this is who I am and this is what we do. So now that I met the sister that my mom and dad did not tell me about because they didn't know. So now this is like a for life thing. This is like a for life thing, but this is me. Because it's very difficult to find someone who not only relates to you, but has the same mission you have. So I always tell my kids, you know, some of my kids are in the medical field, so I always tell my kids, and even the women, young women, older women that I mentor, I said, what you do is your job, but what about your mission? Your job has nothing to
Job's
do with
just a
your
job.
mission.
I have a great job. It's just a job. Does not
but
define
the
me.
mission has to be done.
Yeah.
And it has to be done, because if not, then why were we spared? Why we're still here?
How about Wings of Hope International?
I love it.
Huh?
Make it happen.
There you go.
You know, this event, this is just a perfect example. We talked about it on our prior interview to this. This event's so powerful, bringing women together.
It is.
And it makes me so happy. It makes me feel inspired leaving this. Of what are we going to do next? How are we going to keep this continuing for other women to have the same interaction that you both had? Because I guarantee you, there's so many females in the industry that probably could connect like the both of you
Absolutely.
have, and could do something even greater together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we get that all the time. So I'm walking in the hallway and I get, hey, so are you going to come next year? And I'm like, wait, in case we haven't met, like, I have been in Women in Trucking since 2015. I have been on the image team, so I'm here every year.
I see your face everywhere.
Can I see you next year? Are you going to be here next year? I'll be here.
Exactly.
I'm not going anywhere. So
I took
you
a
know,
week
it's just
vacation
it.
to come here, and I
my
am
goodness.
so glad. Number one, I missed night shift, but that's beside the point. No, the connections I've made has been incredible. Like I'm
Even the
so
one she didn't want
blessed.
to. Well, she didn't expect.
She almost bowled me over on the dance floor.
did.
It was so funny.
I was not letting
It's the Gemini thing.
It is. Like I literally was like, wait, what? No, she didn't just pass me. Like, get the camera. I'm telling my husband, get the phone. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not, it was just like an instant connection. Like I don't know who she was at the time, right?
Right.
So but I just knew it's just
personality.
something. It was just something in just the passing. It's like if someone has the same, and I know people might not believe it, but believe it or not, if someone has the same heart and the same spirit, you'll feel that when they pass you. And if you don't, maybe a deeper soul searching is necessary.
Yeah.
Because you do feel that. Before she says hello, forget about it was wind down time. No. It wasn't a wind down for me because it was like, this is a connection.
That's just the beginning.
Yes.
You read her energy.
Yes.
I did.
Exactly.
I only had just a little bit.
Oh, just a little
The hat, just a little bit. I mean,
I read
you
it.
gotta see this hat, man.
Right, yeah, I can't wait to
It's a Vegas
Yes.
hat.
I can't wait to
Oh
see
my
it.
God.
Now, trucking question.
Okay.
You drive tankers. And
I used to.
Or used to, yes.
In my own company, I do not.
Okay. But you drove it for many years.
Yes, absolutely.
And then Kathy, you drive big rigs. Those are
Mining trucks.
mining trucks.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of, safety and responsibility that comes with driving those kind of vehicles. I mean, we've often heard that women, they're safer. They're more oriented, they're more organized.
Okay.
I mean, what would you recommend for women that are interested in doing driving tankers, mining machines? What would you say to those women?
Well,
as far as safety, are we focusing on the safety
If they're interested in pursuing that type of career.
Right, okay.
Well, in Canada, my God, go to Women Building Futures. It is if it's not heavy equipment, well then there's electrician, there's plumbing, there's other trades that because not everybody's geared. I mean, to be a trucker, right? There's other things to do.
Absolutely.
But just remember, it's men's best kept secret.
You now know.
Saying it again.
And for me, I think just being stationed in Virginia. So me being in Virginia, there's so many schools, and until you get to the school and you say, hey, I need the help, that's where the resources are. And also, Women in Trucking has the foundation. So we do scholarships for women that want to get into the industry. And then let's just add in that even though we do, let's not single out that if you don't feel that that's for you at that time, there's other avenues. There's the brokering, there's the shipping, there's the office work. So even if you don't, it's still the industry. You don't have to be behind the wheel like us, even though you should. You really should.
But, say that again.
Yeah,
yes, we should.
Yeah, you should. But in case you're not ready for that, there's other avenues because it takes more than her and I and just the other people in the world that make up the industry. So it takes the behind the scenes people. It takes everybody as a whole. It's not just us. Everybody makes up the whole unit so that we can all be what we call the transportation industry.
Exactly. I love that because, I think before I joined the industry and many other people, when you hear trucking, you're just thinking of a driver, and there's so many more avenues you can venture out. Even though drivers are the foundation of the trucking industry. Without drivers, there would be no industry. There wouldn't.
Thank you.
And you are essential workers. You are.
Absolutely.
But there are so many different avenues you can go into in trucking, and those too need to be ventured. Those too, a small percentage of females are working in those, and I think we should also support, like you said, women entering brokerage, customer service, operations. I mean, there's so many other avenues.
Can I just say something on that? It starts with each and every woman out there needing to believe in themselves first.
Absolutely.
No matter what other people are telling them that they cannot do, they can do.
Be brave enough to put yourself in those
They can do it.
places.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we're available in case
anytime.
when we need to fly out. So if they don't believe in themselves, just for y'all who are watching, we are happy to fly out and find you and just let you know you can do it. We will come to you. You can do it. We can come either together or separately. But yeah, we're willing to just give that gusto like, hey, if you don't believe in yourself, allow us
To help you along.
To help
to
you
show
and show you
how awesome you are.
If you don't have a mom, we can be that. No sister, we can be that.
Right.
No cousin, we can be that. No mentor, we are that.
We are.
First of all. So it's like, yeah, all of the situations that people have been through, whether it's women, and let's not exclude the men, but men too. But absolutely, we can be that because we already are that. So this is what we do, and this is what we're going to do. So if we're like,
I think we're the dream team.
We are, right?
The two
Absolutely.
tornadoes. Are you kidding? Yeah, of course.
So we can call it like the storm success.
Oh.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
We're having a whole brainstorming session.
I know.
It's so awesome.
Get out a whiteboard somewhere.
Right?
Seriously, it's crazy.
So where do we go from here, though? How do we get more women entering our industry? How do we take away those roadblocks, those obstacles? I think Women in Trucking is number one, obviously a great resource, like you said.
And I think you're number two.
Yeah.
Because without you guys doing this with us,
That's right. We
the
would.
people that normally don't know about Women in Trucking, don't know about anything, they don't know. It's you guys, all of you guys with the radio shows and the TV. It's you guys that pinpoint what we do and make it seem like it's so extravagant.
And
We appreciate that, though.
Thank you. And I'm going to get on my soapbox for just a few seconds.
Oh, my goodness.
Because, my favorite part of my job is getting to meet new people in the industry. It is. And, from our meetings to where, you were in a Denny's getting breakfast.
Not the
and,
Denny's.
I mean, she had I don't know, you had something like around your neck.
Oh, I had
or
whiplash. I had really bad
yeah.
whiplash.
In the Denny's.
And then Angie, you were
Yes.
like, your phone wasn't working. And like,
Right.
you were like,
And
I
I'm in
don't
the
know.
country and I'm like, wait, I just got in, hold on.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to feed my giant rabbit at the same time I'm talking to her. And I'm like, don't mind me, I just walked in the door and he's
Okay,
like,
but
wait.
where's the rabbit?
Why did you not bring the rabbit with you?
Oh my, because I flew in and I refused to put him under.
Emotional support animal.
I know.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that.
But that's my favorite part of my job is those interactions I get. And,
Yes.
and for me, it goes past just having y'all on the show. These are relationships I want to continue to grow and keep y'all included because we wouldn't have content, we wouldn't have anything to share about our industry without y'all. And it's the new things that y'all do and the new actions y'all take. I know. It's
love
like
it.
It's us.
that we're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna keep growing. And again, I keep saying it like every interview, but the Ladies Who Launch segment, that's why I made it, is for people like you. You inspired me and you made me want to make that. It deserved a name, it deserved its own time and place for it. And I'm more excited to meet because I guarantee there's more women like you in the industry and they need a platform and a voice to be heard. So that's the least that I feel like I can do in our station can do. So.
But I love that you feel that way. I also love, like you said that, like you have a choice. So in case she didn't hear me when I said you're stuck, I think she missed over that part. So you're stuck too. So in case you didn't hear that part, like you're stuck with us.
I love it. I'm happy to be stuck.
So it's like meeting the new people. It's a family. So I just like the House family. Actually, just inducted me in their Hall of Fame, right?
Right here. And I'm
right
like,
there.
I know that lady.
Yes, and I'm telling you, I was like, what? So now the family grows. I'm so grateful for that. And you guys, it's like, you don't have the choice. So when you're talking to us too, I'm just speaking for us too, we just want to say that
Double trouble.
You would love to keep contact, but actually you don't have a choice now. So
Perfect.
like the secret contract that we signed when we sat in the chairs, just like underneath like a laser,
Yes.
means that you're stuck with us.
So you know about it.
You're stuck, You're stuck with us. There's no
I'm
way.
ready for it. I'm so excited.
We're so grateful.
Is there anything else you want to let our viewers know before we let you go? What do you want the one message for them to take away from this, take away from our time, take away from this convention? What do you want them to know? Who wants to go first?
Well, okay. It all starts with learning to believe in yourself. I know there's a lot of people out there with mental health issues. COVID was really hard on the world, and households are really suffering. So it's got to start with you. If you want change, take the steps to do it. I would not be here right now if I had not told Toothless Joe that this is not happening, right? So every step that I took, and there was a lot of steps, I kept taking them and kept taking them. And those stumbling blocks, you think, turn them into stepping stones, right?
Absolutely.
And you can be here too anytime.
I
You
agree.
just got to change the story you're telling yourself, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Perspective.
Right?
Yes.
That's perspective.
I love it.
I'm officially designer minor now, just so
That's
you know.
right.
The whole thing.
That's
so.
right. Changing the way people look at us.
That's right.
So I think it's just, I'm going to piggyback off what she said. It's just a don't stop, keep going thing.
Yeah.
It's like, don't stop. Just, even if it's hard and obstacles come, it doesn't matter. Don't give up. And even if it takes you a little while longer than what you expected, do not give up. It takes a while. Sometimes everything quick is not great. Okay, so, and then look at us. Like, judge from our stories. Like, this can happen. This can happen. We don't even have enough time to go into both of our in-depth stories.
Right.
We'd be here like all day.
I know, right?
You have to do like a whole movie series. So yeah, and it's definitely just to believe in yourself.
Documentary.
Yes, we're gonna do it.
I mean, we've got a lot of ideas.
We have a lot of things to work on.
I know.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to work on.
Look at the
It can
writers. Come
happen.
on.
It can happen. We're definitely gonna keep doing what we do. You gotta keep doing what you are doing.
Yeah.
You have
Thank
to
you
keep
so much.
right next to her. Yeah. So, and we have to just stay connected. And we have to make sure that everyone knows it's possible. And you can do it. If we could do it, they can do it.
Let's do this again next conference and see what we did in the last year.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, I love that.
Yes.
I love
And I
that.
want to say thank you to Reagan. I sprung on her at breakfast this morning to co-host with
Oh,
me.
by the way, right?
And
Seriously?
thank you so much. I want to ask you though, like,
Yeah.
if this is also your first Women in Trucking conference, like, what are you taking
Awesome.
away from this? What are you excited for next year?
I'm pumped for next year. I'm so glad we got to connect. Talk about people meeting each other at this
Right.
conference. Bryce came up to me at bike night, and that's where we
Yes.
met. You know,
So Bike Night was ahead.
everybody go to bike night
Yes.
next year. No, but seriously, meeting people like you said. I mean, that's always my favorite part of my job. But especially here, I mean, I got to meet you ladies just by chance. You know, I mean, it's so wonderful. Next year, I'm looking forward to meeting even more people and learning even more. I mean, I'm ever growing, ever learning, and this conference fosters that environment. So,
Absolutely.
So continuing to do that and looking up to people like you guys who are excellent
thank you.
examples.
Thank
Of course,
you very much.
Thank
two
you.
very different stories, two success stories. You know, like that's the thing you have in common. So, yeah.
We sprung this last minute too.
I know.
We were like,
No,
let's do this
but
together.
It
We were like, let's
it
make
was
it happen.
meant to be.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
And
way better.
It was
Great
meant to be,
energy.
and
Yeah.
I hate that we have to close this out, but this
But,
was the
yeah.
best way to end this conference. I'm really glad it
thank
happened
you.
this way.
Thank you.
And I just want to let everyone know watching, thank you for watching us, and
Thank you.
thank you for
Thank
being
you.
a follower, and thank you to guests like y'all for being a part of this, and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
just hopefully we can, like we said, we're stuck with each other now.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. They don't have a choice either.
We're stuck with BCB Live.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, all right.
All right.
I can live with that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our viewers. This is the final and last interview of Women in Trucking Conference 2022. I'm here with Reagan Payne, Angelique Temple, and Kathy
and the
Tucaro.
tornadoes.
And the tornadoes, of course. And that's it, guys. You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.